Okay, let's talk about going off grid. What it looks like, and maybe the first step to going and living off grid. Going off grid looks like an overwhelming task. It is the giant in the land that keeps us from going in and taking the good land that God has promised us. The modern grid life is easy and relatively cheap. When you consider that you are already in it and you are enslaved to it, and that it might cost you more to get out, the flesh loves air conditioning and microwaves and hair dryers and all of those things that we plug into the wall. All of these junk plugins are designed to please and numb our flesh. This is why the grid in our hearts is so hard to get rid of. The first task in getting off grid is to fall out of love with these things, to realize that they enslave us and they are poisonous to our souls and to our hopes of freedom and of eternal life. It is necessary that we learn to see things as they really are, from a historical perspective and not from a modernist one. Not that going off grid could ever save us, but be assured of this one thing: living for the flesh will certainly damn all those who serve and idolize it. Think of going off grid as going into a lifeboat from a sinking ship. You may not be saved if you go off the ship, but you will surely die if you don't. We have to fall out of love with these things that pamper and cater to the flesh at the detriment of our eternal and physical safety and well-being. We have to look at all things with a true and pure eye, and we must evaluate the true purpose and need of these things. We must convince ourselves that most of these things, the stuff of the world that enslaves us, are poisonous to our well-being. Then we can more easily toss them. Those things that are conducive to off-grid living, or that can be used to our benefit, or that can be used to help us on our pilgrimage out of the system, we can retain for a time. The next step is to train ourselves to go without unneeded, unsustainable things, and train ourselves in older and better ways of doing things, which is to say, we need to learn to live like our ancestors did. In Jeremiah 6:16, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein." Don't be the one of those people who say we will not walk therein. God has said that the old paths are better than the new ones. That is a fact declared from heaven. We need to learn it and accept it. The next step is to practice and begin to live the things that we say we believe. This is the first real step on the Pilgrim's Progress. Step out and start to practice and live a different kind of life, a life lived on the narrow path. Sell all of the junk you don't need and begin to procure those things that will help you live off-grid, which means you need to sell almost everything you own. It is completely countercultural to get rid of stuff and to start to make do without, but it is one of the most liberating things you will ever do. This was the hardest step for me. It is a very emotionally draining task to get rid of all your belongings in life that you've accumulated, to get rid of your children's belongings if you have children. I remember doing this, and I went through about a 2-year time period of purging about 17, 18 years worth of stuff that was accumulated in one house that we lived in before moving to off-grid. And you do not realize how emotionally attached to material possessions you become until you start to get rid of them. It's a very tough thing to do, but It is true of what everyone says about it being so exhilarating and liberating and freeing. You feel lighter and just more free once you get over the initial shock and emotional, I guess you could say, trauma from detaching. So this is a whole new way of thinking and a whole new philosophy of life for most of us. It is a paradigm changer, and it is also a spiritual roadmap to a simpler and godlier living. It will challenge everything you think about the world around you. You will become more in tune with nature, your own ancestors' way of living, and the simpler, more sustainable, successful, and holy ways of life. You'll become more at peace with yourself and with the decisions that you make in life. It will create in you a righteous pride and true contentment deep within your soul. So, okay, that's it for now. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below what you have decided to purge from your life this week. And remember, a simple life is a beautiful life.